Good evening, children. Today, let's start part 2 of your first language English textbook, and we'll start with the lesson The Eyes Are Not Here by Ruskin Bond. Due to some reasons, I'm not able to come to school from the last few days, hence, I thought I will interact with you on WhatsApp. Okay? So, The Eyes Are Not Here is about two people, both of whom are physically challenged. Both of them cannot see, they are blind. So they come across each other and they don't know about each other's physical condition. They meet each other in a train journey. Okay? So I'll read out the chapter for you now. I had the compartment to myself up to Rohana, and then a girl got in. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort, and the woman gave the girl detailed instructions as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the window, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. They said their goodbyes. The train pulled out of the station. Let's move to the next page. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, I was unable to tell what the girl looked like, but I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would. But I liked the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. Now, the author is the one who is speaking here, who is expressing his opinion, and we can make out that he is totally blind. So now the author speaks to the girl who comes and sits opposite to him in the train. Are you going all the way to Dehra? I asked. I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, I didn't know anyone else was here. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. They have too much to take in, I suppose. Whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining senses. I didn't see you either, I said, but I heard you coming. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind, I thought. Provided I keep to my seat, it shouldn't be too difficult. Now, this man, that is the author, he doesn't want the girl to discover that he is blind. We can easily make out. So the girl said, I am getting down at Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting me there. Then I had better not be too familiar, I said. Aunts are usually formidable creatures. Formidable means someone who is very powerful, who is very strong. This man says, aunts are very formidable, very powerful, very strong, which means aunts can be very dominating. So it's better he doesn't become too familiar with the girl. Where are you going? She asked. To Dehra and then to Mussoorie. Oh, how lucky you are. I wish I were going to Mussoorie. I love the hills, especially in October. Yes, this is the best time, I said, calling on my memories. The hills are covered with wild dahlias. Dahlia is a type of flower. The sun is delicious, and at night you can sit in front of a log fire and listen to some music. Many of the tourists have gone, and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time. Now we'll go to the next page. She was silent, and I wondered if my words had touched her or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. What's it like? I asked. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? But her next question removed my doubts. Why don't you look out of the window? She asked. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye, I could see the telegraph post flashing by. Have you noticed, I ventured, that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be standing still? That always happens, she said. Do you see any animals? Hardly any animals left in the forests near Dehra. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. You have an interesting face, I remarked. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flattery. Do you know what is flattery? Flattery means praising someone, appreciating someone. Appreciating someone who doesn't deserve it. She laughed pleasantly, a clear, ringing laugh. It's nice to be told I have an interesting face. I'm tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. Now, most of the people she has met so far, this girl, they have told her that her face is quite pretty, that she is quite good looking. But for the first time, someone is telling her that she has an interesting face. Oh, so you do have a pretty face, I thought. And aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. The author says, a face can be pretty as well as interesting. You are a very gallant young man. Gallant means someone who is very brave, she said. But why are you so serious? I thought then I tried to laugh for her, but the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. We will be at your station, I said. Thank goodness it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours. Now let's go to the next page. Yes, I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time just to listen to her talking. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. The engine's whistle shrieked, the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up and began to collect her things. I wonder if she wore her hair in a bun, or was it plaited, or if it hung loose over her shoulders, or if it was cut very short. Now this man, he is imagining the girl, how she must be looking. Is she wearing her hair in a bun or in a plait, or did it hang loose over her shoulders, or whether it was cut very short? We all know very well these are the 4 types of hairstyles which usually girls possess. Of course, nowadays this bun is slowly going out of fashion. Most of the girls, either they will be wearing their hair in a plait, or it will hang loose over their shoulders, or they would have cut it very short. The train drew slowly into the station. Outside there was the shouting of porters and vendors, and a high-pitched female voice near the carriage door, which must have belonged to the girl's aunt. Goodbye, said the girl. She was standing very close to me, so close that the perfume from her hair was tantalizing. Tantalizing means tempting. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away, and only the perfume still lingered where she had stood. Lingered means stay with us. Stay for a short period. You may break, you may shatter the vase if you will, but the scent of the roses will linger there still. Now the author is thinking about a short verse or a poem. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. Then the door banged shut and the world was shut out again. I returned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play with a new fellow traveler. The train gathered speed. The wheels took up their song. The carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. See, he is traveling in daylight in the morning time, maybe in the morning or afternoon, but still for him everything is darkness because he cannot see, he is blind. So many things happening outside the window. It could be a fascinating game guessing what went on out there. The man who had entered the compartment broke into my reverie. Reverie means dreaming during the daytime. Now we go to the next page, the last page of this particular chapter. You must be disappointed, he said. I'm sorry, I am not as attractive a traveling companion as the one who just left. She was an interesting girl, I said. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? Now we can make out this man, this author, is very much concerned about the girl's hair. I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? So thus ends this particular lesson. The Eyes Are Not Here by Ruskin Bond. This is about two people, both of whom are blind. They travel together in a train. One is a girl and the other is a boy. They strike a conversation with each other. And the boy doesn't know that the girl is blind. And the girl doesn't know that the boy is blind. They both try to pretend that they are not blind. They don't want the other person to come find out that they are blind. So they strike a conversation. They talk about so many things. They discuss where exactly they are going. So many things they just discuss. Finally, the girl says that she is getting down at Saharanpur. So now the boy says Saharanpur is almost approaching. So the girl gets up, she collects her luggage and she just goes out of the train, saying goodbye to the man. Now this man is imagining how the girl must be looking and how she must be wearing her hair. Then he hears a high-pitched female voice. Maybe it must have belonged to the girl's aunt. So the girl gets off the train and she walks off. And a man comes into the train and he sits next to the author. So the train again gathers speed and the train starts leaving. Now this man who has just entered the train strikes a conversation with the author and he says sorry that he is not as attractive a companion as the one who just left. So the author says, she seemed to be an interesting girl. And he asks a question, can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? The fellow passenger replies, I don't remember. I didn't notice her hair. I just noticed her eyes. She had beautiful eyes, but the eyes were of no use to her because she was completely blind. So this is a wonderful lesson, a beautiful lesson, very interesting lesson. I'm sure you all enjoyed listening to this particular story. It's a very interesting story. So I'll interact with you again with the next lesson very shortly. Thank you, children. Bye. Hope to see you in the school very shortly at the earliest. Bye.